You cry too easily. That's what they've told you, right? Too sensitive, too emotional, too much. But what if that's not the truth? What if the real problem is that you've been taught to feel ashamed of something that was never wrong to begin with? It doesn't take much. A quiet comment, a small disappointment, a scene in a movie that barely affects anyone else, and suddenly your throat tightens, your eyes burn, you look away, blink fast, pretend you're fine, because you already know what's coming. Why are you crying over that? So you swallow it. You force your face still. You sit there pretending nothing is happening inside you, while everything is happening inside you. Maybe it happens at night. You're lying in bed, phone glowing against your face, scrolling, distracting yourself, until one thought slips through, just one, and suddenly your chest feels heavy, your breathing changes, your eyes fill again, and there it is, that familiar wave. Or maybe it's in front of people, the worst place. You feel it rising. And now you're not just feeling sadness, you're feeling panic. Because now you have to hide it. Now you have to control it. Now you have to stop it. And the more you try to stop it, the stronger it gets. So you learn. You learn to apologize for it, to joke about it, to say things like, I don't know why I'm like this, as if something is broken, as if you're malfunctioning, as if your emotions are a mistake. But here's the part no one told you. Crying easily isn't weakness. It's exposure. You don't cry because you're fragile. You cry because something inside you is open, unfiltered, unarmored. Most people spend years building walls, layer after layer. They numb themselves without even realizing it. They scroll more, talk less, feel less. Not because they're stronger, but because they've trained themselves not to feel deeply anymore. You didn't, or maybe you tried, but something in you refused. And that's why it feels so overwhelming. Because you're not just reacting to the moment, you're reacting to everything that moment touches, every memory, every meaning, every quiet emotion you never fully processed. It stacks, it builds, and then something small becomes the trigger, a look, a tone of voice, a sentence that hits just a little too close. And suddenly, it's not just about now, it's about everything. Your brain isn't weak, it's associative, it connects. It remembers, it feels. And your nervous system, it's not broken, it's sensitive, highly responsive, which means when something emotional enters your world, it doesn't just brush past you. It lands, it echoes, it stays. You don't just experience emotions, you absorb them. And no one teaches you how to handle that. They just tell you to toughen up. Stop overreacting. Get control of yourself. But control was never the real issue. Suppression was. Because every time you forced yourself not to cry, you didn't make the feeling disappear. You postponed it. You stored it. You buried it somewhere deeper. And buried emotions don't die. They wait. They wait for a moment when your guard is down, late at night, in the shower, in the car, staring at nothing while the world moves around you. And then they rise. All at once. That's why it feels like too much, because it is too much. Not too much emotion, but too much unprocessed emotion. Think about it. How many times have you felt something deeply and then immediately shut it down, changed the subject, picked up your phone, told yourself it wasn't a big deal? You trained yourself to escape your own feelings, and now your mind doesn't trust you to handle them slowly, so it releases them all at once, through tears. Crying isn't the problem, it's the overflow. And the overflow happens when there's no safe place for your emotions to go. But there's another layer, a quieter one. Part of you is scared of your own emotions, not the feeling itself, but what it means. If you let yourself feel fully, what would come up? Old pain, loneliness, anger you never expressed. So you resist, you hold back, you try to stay in control. But emotion doesn't work like that. The more you resist it, the more pressure it builds, until your body releases it for you, through tears. Not because you're weak, because you're human. And here's where it gets uncomfortable. If nothing changes, you don't just keep crying. You start shrinking. You avoid situations that might trigger you. You hold back your thoughts. You filter your personality. You become careful, too careful. You start living in a way that minimizes feeling, instead of understanding it.
And slowly, you disconnect from yourself. Not completely, but enough. Enough to feel off. Enough to feel like you're not fully there. Because the same system that makes you cry easily is the same system that allows you to feel deeply, to connect, to care, to love. And if you shut that down, you don't just lose the pain, you lose everything else with it. So the goal isn't to stop crying. It's to change your relationship with what you feel, not by forcing control, but by allowing space, small moments, quiet ones, sitting alone without distractions, letting a thought come and not pushing it away, not analyzing it, not judging it, just letting it exist. Because when emotions are allowed to move, they don't need to explode, they pass. But when they're trapped, they build pressure, and pressure always finds a way out. You don't need to become less emotional. You need to become someone who can sit with emotion without running from it. That's strength, real strength. It's not loud. It doesn't look impressive. It looks like sitting in your room, staring at the ceiling, feeling something uncomfortable, and not reaching for your phone. It looks like noticing the tightness in your chest and staying with it instead of escaping it. It looks like letting a tear fall without immediately wiping it away like it's something to hide. Because it's not something to hide, it's something to understand. And slowly, something shifts. The emotions don't disappear, but they stop overwhelming you. They become clearer, more defined, less chaotic. You start to recognize them earlier, before they build up, before they overflow. And crying stops feeling like loss of control. It becomes release. There's nothing wrong with you. You were never too much. You were just never shown how to carry what you feel. And maybe that's the real reason it hurts. Not because you feel deeply, but because you've been carrying it alone for so long. But you don't have to carry it the same way anymore. You don't have to fight your emotions, or hide from them, or apologize for them. You can learn them. And when you do, something changes. You stop seeing your tears as proof that you're weak and start seeing them for what they really are, a signal, a sign that something inside you is still alive, still responsive, still capable of feeling in a world that numbs almost everything. And maybe that's not your flaw. Maybe that's your depth. So the next time your eyes start to fill, pause, not to stop it, but to notice it. Because that moment, that's not you breaking, that's you feeling. And feeling was never the problem. If this idea made you see your mind differently and you enjoy exploring the psychology behind everyday struggles, subscribe for more videos that simplify how the brain works.